My mom abandoned me at 12 to raise someone else's kids. 18 years later, she came back asking for my kidney. Reddit stories. She left me for her new husband's perfect twins, then reappeared 2 decades later with stage 4 kidney disease and a request only biology could grant. What she didn't expect was the one word she'd never heard from me before: no. Hey Reddit. I'm Jake, 30M, and my mother abandoned me at 12 so she could go play supermom to someone else's kids. I spent 18 years building a life without her, and then she showed up needing a kidney. Let's rewind. My parents divorced when I was 9. Nothing dramatic at first: split custody, awkward school events, forced smiles. Dad was a blue-collar plumber who showed up to my baseball games still in his work boots. Mom worked at a medical office and was obsessed with climbing one imaginary social ladder after another. At 11, she met him, Douglas. A financial advisor, BMW, wristwatch worth more than our old car, suburban house in a gated community. Oh, and 2 twin daughters, Sophie and Claire, both 8. Perfect, blonde, adorable. Instagram ready before Instagram existed. Mom fell for Douglas like she'd been training her whole life for the moment. And Douglas? He treated me like a dusty piece of furniture that came with the divorce agreement. 6 months later, he proposed. At the wedding, I was technically in the family, but only in the same way the table centerpieces were technically part of the decor. The twins got personalized gift baskets. I got a suit 2 sizes too big and a fake smile from Douglas. Moving into that house felt like being demoted from son to extended stay guest. The twins got the biggest bedroom. Douglas's office stayed untouched. And me? A fold-out couch shoved into a storage room that smelled like mothballs and forgotten Christmas decor. It's temporary, Mom promised. Temporary lasted a year. Everything about that house revolved around the twins. Mom made them pancakes shaped like animals. I got cereal. She braided their hair and went to every recital. She forgot to sign my field trip form twice. I sat in that house feeling like a ghost haunting a family that wasn't mine. But the worst moment came one night when I walked past their cracked bedroom door. Douglas's voice. Your son isn't fitting into the family dynamic. The girls are uncomfortable. Maybe he'd be happier with his father. My mother, whispered. Maybe you're right. I remember standing there, 12 years old, staring at the carpet pattern, while the message hit me like a slow punch. They were discussing me like a returnable item. 2 weeks later, Mom sat me down, used her softest voice, and told me I should live with Dad full-time. For my own good, of course. They needed the basement for a playroom anyway. And just like that, she traded me in for her shiny new family. Dad took me in without hesitation. And just like that, my old life ended. And a new one started. Living with Dad full-time was like stepping out of a storm into a warm room. He upgraded to a bigger apartment so I could have a real bedroom. Bought me furniture. Helped me paint the walls the color I wanted. Showed up to my baseball games, school stuff, even the weird science fair where my volcano exploded before the judges showed up. He didn't say a single bad word about Mom. Not one. Not when she forgot to pick me up. Not when she canceled visits last minute. Not when she missed my birthday because the twins had a dance showcase. He just said, "We'll figure it out, buddy," and took me out for ice cream. Mom, meanwhile, slowly faded out of my life like a poorly written character who stopped appearing in episodes. First it was, "Sweetie, this weekend is bad, the twins have rehearsals." Then, "We already made plans, next week, I promise." Then, "Something came up, honey." Rain check? Rain check turned into months. Months turned into years. By the time I hit 13, my mom was basically a stranger I saw on holidays. And even then, she spent most of the time talking about Douglas's financial milestones or the twins' achievements. I'd sit there stabbing at my mashed potatoes while she smiled over the girls' piano competitions and sleepovers and shopping trips. I wasn't jealous. I was invisible. At 14, I stopped expecting her to show up. At 15, I stopped trying to impress her. At 17, I stopped caring. Dad helped me get into a trade school program. I became an electrician. I was good at it. Really good. Wiring, systems, troubleshooting, it clicked. Mom didn't attend my graduation. The twins had a dance event. Of course. Dad and I went for steaks afterward. He toasted me with soda and said, "Your mom doesn't know what she's missing." And for the first time, I believed him. By 25, I'd bought my own house. By 27, I got my master electrician license. By 28, I met Jessica, teacher, brilliant, kind, the first person who ever told me, "Your childhood wasn't normal, Jake. You deserve better." So I built a life. A good one. A stable one. A life without the woman who left me behind. I thought that chapter was closed for good. And then she called. I hadn't heard from my mother in almost a year when my phone lit up with her number. For a second, I honestly thought it was a mistake. A pocket dial. A scammer. Anything but her actually calling me. But she left a voicemail. "Jake, it's important. Please call me." Important. The last time something was important. She sent me to live with Dad to free up space for her new family. Still, I was 30, not 12. I could handle whatever this was. We met at a coffee shop. Neutral territory. Public place. No nostalgia traps. She walked in and I swear, she looked like a ghost of her old self. Pale, thin, tired. Designer clothes that hung wrong on her frame. "Jake," she said softly. "Thank you for meeting me." I just nodded. I wasn't ready for small talk. She fidgeted, wringing her hands the way she used to before telling me things I wouldn't like. And then she said it. "I have kidney disease. Stage 4. I blinked. Absorbed it. Processed it. "I'm sorry to hear that," I said carefully. "I've been on the transplant list for over a year," she continued, "but my doctors don't think I'll make it long enough to reach the top." Okay. Still tracking. Still waiting for the actual reason I was here. "I need a living donor," she said. "The girls were tested, they aren't matches. Douglas isn't a match. No one in the family is." Then she reached across the table and touched my hand like we'd had a warm relationship the last 18 years. "But you're my son. Biologically. You're my best chance." There it was. Not, "I've missed you." Not, "I'm sorry for abandoning you." Not, "I want to make things right." Just, "You have something I need. A kidney. An organ. A spare part." She kept talking, something about success rates, compatibility, recovery times, but her voice started to blur because my brain was stuck on one truth. She didn't come back for me. She came back for my body. "I need you to get tested," she said finally, eyes wet. "I know things weren't perfect between us, but I'm your mother. Family helps family." I let out a small laugh. Not a funny laugh, the kind you make when someone tells you the sky is green. "We haven't been a family for 18 years," I said quietly. Her face twisted like I'd slapped her. "Jake, I know I made mistakes," she whispered. "Mistakes?" She made choices. "I'm not saying no," I said because I wasn't ready to blow up yet. "But I'm not saying yes either. I need time." She nodded quickly. Too quickly. "Of course. Of course. Take all the time you need." But the second I got home, the pressure started. Text messages. Phone calls. Articles about kidney donation. Stories about selfless children saving their parents. And then the twins. People who had benefited from the mom I never got. "Please help our mom. She's the best mother in the world. You're her only hope." Douglas even called with his MBA-level guilt trip. "Stop being selfish and step up." Selfish. Selfish. Me. The kid she discarded. Selfish. That was the moment something inside me shifted. I wasn't a scared kid on a storage room couch anymore. I had power. I had boundaries. And this time, I had a choice. The next 2 weeks felt like being hunted by a guilt-themed marketing department. The calls didn't stop. The texts multiplied. Even people I hadn't heard from since childhood suddenly cared very deeply about family bonds. My mother sent daily messages. Have you thought more about the testing? I'm scared. I don't want to die, Jake. Please respond. The twins followed up with their own emotionally weaponized spam. You don't understand what it's like watching your mom get sicker. We need her. You're literally our only hope. I blocked them. They started texting from new numbers. I blocked those too. Then Douglas, a man who treated me like a stain on his leather seats, left me a voicemail so intense it sounded like an Oscar audition. You are being unbelievably selfish. Your mother is dying. If you let her die, that is blood on your hands. She tried to be a mother to you. The least you can do is save her life. Tried to be a mother. That one nearly made me choke. Extended family joined in. You'll regret this forever. You're being dramatic. She made mistakes, Jake, we all do. Be the bigger person. Don't punish your mother for the past. Nobody cared about the past for 18 years. But now that an organ was on the line? Oh, suddenly I mattered, or at least my kidney did. Then came the church group. People I had never met. Your mother loves you very much. This is God testing your heart. Forgiveness is divine. Saving her is your Christian duty. I'm not even Christian. Didn't matter. They just needed leverage. My absolute favorite message came from a cousin I hadn't seen since middle school. Don't be selfish like your dad. My dad. The only person who stuck around. The only parent who actually earned the title. Meanwhile, Dad himself? He didn't pressure me once. What do you want to do? He asked. What feels right for you? Not. Save her. Not. Don't save her. Just, you matter. Jessica, my girlfriend, was the calm in the storm. You're being asked to risk your life for someone who wasn't there for you, she said. It's okay to say no. Still, I felt like I needed clarity, not from family, but from someone who understood the medical side. So I met with Carson, a nurse friend. He laid it out bluntly. Jake, kidney donation is major surgery. Painful recovery. Real risks. And you'll live the rest of your life with only one kidney. If the relationship is already broken, this won't fix it. It might make it worse. He was right. The situation wasn't complicated. I just wanted it to be, because simple truths hurt. I went home, sat at my kitchen table, and made a list. Reasons to donate. Biology. Guilt. Pressure. She'll die without it, possibly. Right thing to do, according to everyone else. Reasons not to donate. She abandoned me. She chose another family. No relationship for nearly 2 decades. Only reaching out because she's desperate. Major surgery. Real medical risks. Months of lost income. No guarantee it changes anything. I don't owe her my body. The donate column looked like emotional manipulation. The don't donate column looked like logic. For the first time in 18 years, I had the power. She needed something from me. And I had to decide whether she'd earned it. Spoiler, she hadn't. I picked the meeting spot, a park near my house. Neutral ground. Open space. Harder for her to break into tears and trap me in some emotional chokehold. She arrived looking hopeful, almost relieved. Like she expected me to walk in with a duffel bag full of kidneys and good intentions. Jake, she said, breathless. Thank you for meeting me. I've been so anxious. I'm not getting tested. I didn't sugarcoat it. Didn't build up to it. Didn't give her a runway. Her face crumpled like someone stepped on it. What? I'm not getting tested, I repeated. I've made my decision. She stared at me, confused, like she genuinely couldn't fathom a universe where I had agency. But why? She whispered. I almost laughed. Almost. You really want me to spell it out? Yes, she said, desperate. I need to understand. Because, I said calmly, I don't want to. And that's enough. She blinked, stunned. Nobody had ever told this woman. No. Before. Ever. But I'm your mother. No, I said. You were my mother. Past tense. She flinched like I'd struck her. That's not fair, she whispered. What's not fair? I asked. That you gave me a storage room bed while the twins got princess suites? That you traded me for a man with a BMW? That you erased me from every family photo for the last 18 years? That you showed up now, not because you miss me, but because you need something from me? She shook her head violently. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did, I said. Over and over. I made mistakes, she insisted. You made choices? I corrected. Big difference. She covered her face with her hands, sobbing. Loudly. Dramatically. The kind of crying people do when they want the world to witness their suffering. You're going to let me die, she choked out. Your own mother. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't get emotional. Didn't argue. No, I said calmly. You're dying because you're sick. I'm simply choosing not to undergo major surgery for someone who hasn't been in my life. Her breath hitched. Please think about Sophie and Claire. They need me. There it was again. Everything always came back to the twins. Her real daughters. Not me. I hope they find a donor, I said. Truly. But it's not going to be me. She grabbed my arm, nails digging in. Jake, please, I'm begging you. I gently pulled my arm away. You should have thought about this when I was 12. And I walked away. I didn't turn around. Not once. No dramatic pause. No guilt. No second thoughts. The next 48 hours were hell. I was apparently a murderer. A selfish monster. A disgrace to the family. A heartless, vindictive son. But deep down, under the noise, the guilt, the attacks, the chaos, I felt something I hadn't felt since childhood. Peace. For the first time, I chose myself. 3 weeks after the park confrontation, I got a call from Dad. He didn't clear his throat. Didn't do the whole, brace yourself, lead in. He just said, Your mother found a donor. I froze. The hospital matched her with someone from a donor organization. Dad continued. The surgery's scheduled for next week. Relief didn't just wash over me. It drowned me. Because the truth is, even after everything she'd done, even after abandoning me, even after trying to guilt-trip me into organ donation, I still didn't want her to die. I just wasn't willing to destroy my own body to save the woman who helped ruin my childhood. When I didn't respond, Dad added gently, You didn't cause this, kid. You didn't make her sick. You just chose not to give away a part of yourself to someone who didn't earn that kind of sacrifice. I nodded even though he couldn't see it. After we hung up, I sat in my kitchen for a long time, just breathing. Letting the weight slide off me one vertebra at a time. She lived. She would recover. And I hadn't been forced back into her orbit through surgery and lifelong medical consequences. That should have been the end of it. And honestly, I thought it was. But the fallout was coming. Fast. The guilt parade too. 0. Once word spread that she'd found a donor without my help, the tone of the messages changed. Suddenly I wasn't a murderer anymore. Now I was. Ungrateful. Stubborn. Cold. Immature. Ungodly. Selfish. Classic. Douglas left a voicemail dripping with disappointment. You should feel ashamed. She needed you and you weren't there. But thanks to someone kinder than you, she'll live. The twins posted things online like, Not everyone deserves a second chance with family. Translation. I hadn't proven useful. And the absolute best message came from my aunt. Well, now that the crisis is over, you should reach out and rebuild your relationship. She nearly died. Life is short. Oh yeah? Where was that energy when I was 12 living in a storage room? Where was that life is short attitude when she didn't show up for my graduation? My birthdays? My life milestones? Nobody cared back then. They cared now because guilt is contagious. I ignored all of it. Deleted the messages. Blocked the numbers. Went back to work like a normal human being. For once, I didn't feel responsible for anyone but myself. The surgery. The transplant went well. I didn't visit. Didn't send flowers. Didn't even send a "get well soon." Some might call that cold. But honestly, she had a room full of people supporting her. The same people who'd replaced me 18 years ago. She didn't need me at her bedside. She'd made that clear when I was a kid. So I stayed home, fixed the wiring on a client's warehouse, and cooked dinner with Jessica. And for the first time, it felt like my life, my family, was exactly what it was supposed to be. But she wasn't done with me yet. 2 months later, she knocked on my door. No warning. No text. No call. Just showed up on my porch with the kind of expression you only see in people who think the world owes them closure. I opened the door. She looked healthier, color back in her cheeks, fuller face, stronger posture. "Jake," she said softly. "Can we talk?" Of course she wanted to talk. The crisis was over. The kidney was safely inside her. Now she wanted the second gift. Me. She stood on my porch like a woman rehearsing her lines in the car and hoping the performance would earn her redemption. "Jake," she said, "I want to thank you." I raised an eyebrow. "For what?" "I didn't do anything." "You met with me," she said quickly. "You considered it. And, even though you didn't donate, I needed you to know I don't blame you." That was generous of her, considering she and her entire fan club absolutely blamed me 3 weeks ago. "Okay," I said flatly. "Is that all?" She swallowed. "No. I also wanted to apologize. For everything. I didn't rush to fill the silence. Didn't reassure her. Just waited." She wrung her hands, eyes darting everywhere but mine. "I was a terrible mother," she said. "I know I was. I chose Douglas. I chose the girls. I convinced myself you were better off with your dad. I told myself stories to justify it, and that wasn't fair. You didn't deserve what I did. Any of it." I didn't move. Didn't blink. "I want to fix things," she breathed. "I want to repair our relationship. Be in your life again. Be your mother, if you'll let me." There it was. Not, "I love you." Not, "I miss you." Not, "I want to know the man you've become." Just, "I want back in." Not because she earned a place, but because she feared being shut out again. I leaned against the doorframe. "Why now?" I asked. She blinked, startled. "Because I almost died," she whispered. "Because it made me realize how much time I've lost. How much I've missed. I want a second chance." "A second chance?" I repeated. "Yes." I nodded slowly. "I get why you want that. But here's the problem." I straightened up, meeting her eyes fully for the first time. "You're asking me for something you never gave me. You want me to treat you like a mother now, but you haven't been one since I was 12. Her breath caught. "That's not true," she whispered. "It is," I said. "And you know it." She flinched. "I'm not saying this to punish you," I continued. "I'm saying it because it's the truth of who we are now." She opened her mouth, but I raised a hand. "You had 18 years to reach out. To show up. To call. To try. And you didn't. Not once. Not until you needed something. So I built a life without you. A good one." Her eyes filled with tears. "Jake, please." "I'm not angry anymore," I said gently. "I'm not hurt. I'm not even resentful. I'm just done." She stared at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. I can't be your son again, I said. Not because I hate you, but because the version of me who needed you. That kid died a long time ago. Her lip trembled. Is there really no chance? She whispered. You made your choice, I said. And I made mine. I opened the door wider, not to invite her in, but to cue her exit. I'm glad the surgery went well, I added. I hope you have a long, healthy life. But it won't be with me in it. She choked out a sob. Jake, please don't close the door. I'm not closing it, I said softly. I'm just not reopening something that ended almost 2 decades ago. And then I did close the door. Carefully. Quietly. Not slammed. Not angry. Just final. For a long time I stood there, hand on the handle, listening to her footsteps fade down the walkway. Jessica came into the hallway, concern on her face. You okay? She asked. I am, I said. And for once, I meant it. Life didn't explode after I closed the door on her. No dramatic aftermath. No blow-up. No final guilt campaign. Just a quiet shift. Like a door I'd been holding shut for 18 years finally clicked into place. The aftermath nobody warns you about. A week later, a card showed up in my mailbox. Handwritten. Careful penmanship. Short. I understand. Thank you for hearing me out. I wish you a good life. Mom! I put it in a drawer. Not out of sentiment. Out of closure. She didn't call again. Didn't text. Didn't show up. It was almost like she realized. If she pushed any harder, she'd lose the last tiny sliver of dignity she had left. And honestly, that was the best thing she could have done. The wedding invitation. 3 months later, another envelope arrived. Sophie, my stepsister, who'd gotten the childhood I didn't, was getting married. There was a handwritten note on the back. It would mean a lot if you came. We'd love to see you. Mom! I didn't get angry. Didn't scoff. Didn't even feel anything. I just tossed it in the trash. Because I wasn't about to attend a wedding where everyone would smile politely while whispering. That's the guy who didn't donate the kidney. No thanks. Dad's take. Dad came over for dinner one night. We grilled steaks and watched the game. When I mentioned the wedding invite, he didn't even look up from his plate. You going? No. Good, he said, spearing a baked potato. Your life's going pretty damn well without them. He wasn't wrong. Building something real. Jessica and I moved forward with our own lives, the lives we built, brick by brick, without a single contribution from the woman who'd expected a kidney but never earned a phone call. We got engaged the next year. Married in a small ceremony with the people who mattered. Dad walked Jessica down the aisle. Yes, her, not me. Her father had passed years earlier, and she wanted the one man we both saw as family to do it. Mom wasn't invited. Not out of revenge. Just because she didn't belong there. She sent a card that said, I'm happy for you. Thank you for giving me the chance to apologize. Mom! I put it in the same drawer as the other one. Not hate. Not anger. Just history. Years later. Every once in a while, I get holiday cards from her. They're short. Polite. Distant. No guilt trips. No requests. No manipulative. Call me. Just a single line. Hope you're well. And the truth? I'm doing better than well. I have a wife I love. A father who never once dropped the ball. A home I built myself. A career I'm proud of. And a life that isn't defined by the parent who left, but by the parent who stayed. What I learned. People like to say, family is family. No. Family is who shows up. Family is who chooses you. Family is who stays even when they don't have to. A mother is not the person who gives birth to you. A mother is the person who keeps choosing you afterward. My mother stopped choosing me when I was 12. I stopped choosing her at 30. And for the first time in my life, That choice finally felt like mine. People assume that once you close the door on a toxic parent, the story ends neatly. You ride off into the sunset with a healed inner child and a set of pristine boundaries. Yeah. That's not how real life works. This is what actually happened. A visit I didn't expect. 5 years into my marriage, Jessica and I had a daughter, Nora. Brown hair, stubborn personality, a laugh that sounded like she stole it from a cartoon character. From the moment she arrived, she became the gravitational center of our universe. Dad cried harder than anyone when she was born. He held her like she was made of crystal and said, "You're gonna do better than all of us put together." He adored her. And then, on Nora's first birthday, someone knocked on our door. I opened it expecting a delivery driver. It was my mother. She looked different. Still older, still thin, but softer somehow. Not polished. Not rehearsed. Just tired. "Jake," she said. I heard you had a baby." I didn't answer. Didn't invite her inside. She looked down at the porch, twisting her hands. "I'm not here to see her," she said quickly. "I know I don't have the right. I just wanted to bring this." She held out a small, wrapped box. Inside was a children's book. Worn, taped at the edges, older than me. "My mother read this to me," she whispered. "I used to read it to you, too. Before everything changed." I remembered that book. Barely. A flicker of a memory, a warm voice, a blanket, the glow of a lamp. I didn't take it from her hand. Not immediately. She wasn't crying. Wasn't pleading. Wasn't asking for a damn thing. She just stood there with this fragile sadness, like someone who finally understood the full weight of her own mistakes. "Jake," she said softly, "I'm not asking you to forgive me. I know I don't deserve it. I just wanted your daughter to have something from her grandmother. Her grandmother is inside," I said quietly. "Jessica's mom. She actually shows up." My mother flinched. Hard. But she nodded. "I know." She set the book on the porch and stepped back. "I won't contact you again," she said. "I just wanted to give you that. And to say, I'm glad you built a better life than the one I gave you." She walked away. Didn't look back. Didn't ask to come in. Didn't ask to see the baby. And for the first time in my entire life, it felt like she finally understood her place. She was not part of this family. And she wasn't entitled to be. The book. That night, after everyone left and the house quieted down, I picked up the book again. It was called The Little Lantern. A story about a small light trying to find a home. I didn't let Nora touch it. Not yet. It was too fragile. But I put it on a shelf in her room, not as a gift from a grandmother she'd never know, but as a reminder. We are shaped by the people who show up. And by the ones who don't. Dad's final lesson. A year later, Dad had a heart attack. It wasn't sudden. He'd been slowing down, missing breath more often, carrying more weight than he should have. But it still hit hard. He survived the first one. Barely. Then another hit 8 months after. That one took him. At his funeral, the church overflowed. Coworkers. Friends. People he'd help fix things for free because nobody should pay $150 for a loose pipe. People he'd driven to job interviews. Kids from my old baseball team. Everyone had a story. About how he showed up. About how he gave what he had. About how he never asked for anything in return. Afterward, I sat at home holding Nora while Jessica rubbed my shoulders and said, "He'd be proud of you." I believed her. Dad left me one thing in his will, a letter. Inside, in messy handwriting. "Son, you don't know the people who didn't raise you. You don't know the people who hurt you. You don't know the past. You only know the family you build. Keep building. Dad." And that was the moment I realized. I didn't just close the door on my mother. I opened a new one with my daughter. With my wife. With the life I built. with the legacy of a father who never abandoned me. Where she is now. Every Christmas, my mother sends a card. Always the same. Hope you and your family are well. No pressure. No guilt. No expectations. She keeps her distance. She respects the boundary. And that's enough. Not forgiveness. Not reconciliation. Just distance. Peaceful, quiet distance. Sometimes the most healing ending is not dramatic. Not emotional. Just, you stay there. I'll stay here. And we both move on. And me? I teach Nora how to hold a flashlight while I fix outlets. She insists on wearing her tiny tool belt. Jessica laughs at us. Calls her Daddy's little apprentice. We barbecue on Sundays. Invite friends. Neighbors. Jessica's family. My family. The real one. The one I chose. The one that chose me back. And sometimes, when Nora falls asleep on my chest, drooling on my shirt like a tiny drunk person, I whisper, "You will never feel the way I felt. Not if it kills me. Because that's the promise I made the day I walked away from the woman who gave me life. And toward the people who give me purpose." Chapter 1. The call I wasn't expecting. I was sitting in my office above the shop, my own electrical company now. Brightline Electric. With a team of 10 guys I treated like family, when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Local area code. I was about to decline it when something made me answer. "Hello? Jake?" A voice I hadn't heard in over a decade. Older. Softer. Fragile. Mom. I almost hung up on instinct. Instead, I let silence do the talking. She took a trembling breath. "Jake. I'm in hospice." Just like that, my stomach went cold. Not because I felt fear or grief, but because I felt nothing at all. "I don't know how much time I have," she continued. "Days, maybe weeks. I would like to see you before I go." I closed my eyes. This again. This need. This reaching for something she threw away decades ago. "I don't know," I said carefully. "I'm not asking for anything," she whispered. "No forgiveness. No relationship. I just want to see your face one more time." There was the soft sound of her choking up. "And if you won't, could you at least bring a picture of your daughter? I've never met her. But I'd like to see who she became." I felt something sharp twist in my chest. Not guilt. Not love. Just the weight of a story that had never fully closed. "I'll think about it," I said. And I hung up. Chapter 2. Nora's Questions. My daughter Nora was 14 now. Smart. Sarcastic. Better at wiring than half my apprentices. She found me staring at the wall when she walked in from school. "You okay, Dad?" "Yeah," I lied. "Long day." She glanced at my phone screen, the call log still open. She saw the name. Mom. She knew everything. Jessica and I told her age-appropriate versions of it as she grew older. We didn't hide the truth, but we didn't poison her with bitterness either. "What did she want?" Nora asked gently. I rubbed my jaw. "She's dying." Nora sat next to me. "Do you want to see her?" That was the thing, I didn't know. "I don't feel anything," I admitted. "Not love. Not hate. Just emptiness." "That's something," she said. She was too smart for her own good. "Mom says unresolved grief is still grief," she added. "I don't grieve her," I said, surprising myself with how sharp it came out. She didn't flinch. "Maybe you grieve who she never was." That hit harder than I expected. Jessica came home a bit later, kissed me hello, and listened quietly as I explained the call. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I don't know," I said again. "Dad's gone. You two are my family. But part of me thinks I need to go so this doesn't hang over me for the rest of my life." She touched my arm. "Going doesn't mean you're giving her anything. It just means you're choosing peace." Peace. I hadn't realized how much I wanted that. Chapter 3: The Final Conversation. 3 days later, I walked into the hospice facility. The air smelled like antiseptic and endings. Mom was smaller than I remembered. Her once perfect hair was thin, her face sunken. But her eyes lit up when she saw me. "Jake," she whispered. "You came." I sat by the bed. Awkward. Distant. Like visiting a stranger I vaguely resembled. She reached toward me, stopped halfway, unsure if she was allowed. I didn't take her hand. But I didn't move away either. "How's your daughter?" she asked. "Good. Smart. Happy. She looks like you," Mom said softly. "I saw the picture you sent." Jessica had convinced me to send one. Just one. Nora holding a toolbox bigger than her head, grinning. A good photo. "She looks confident. Loved." "She is." Mom nodded, tears sliding down her cheeks. "I'm glad," she whispered. "She's getting the life you should have had. I'm glad you broke the cycle." Silence. Then, "I was a coward, Jake." I didn't argue. "I thought loving those girls was easier," she said, voice cracking. "They worshipped me. They needed me. And you were growing up. Becoming your own person. And I didn't know how to love someone I couldn't control." I swallowed hard. "You didn't even try." "I know," she sobbed. "And I have lived with that guilt longer than I lived with you." I stared at her, this broken, fading person. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel anger. Just grief. Not for her. For the kid I used to be. The one who kept hoping she'd pick him. She reached out again, hesitantly. This time, I let her take my hand. Not out of love. Out of mercy. "I'm sorry, Jake," she whispered. "I know," I said. And that was enough. Not forgiveness. Not reconciliation. Just the truth spoken out loud after 33 years. The nurse came in an hour later. Mom fell asleep holding my hand. She didn't wake up again. Chapter 4: What Remains. The funeral was small. The twins didn't speak to me. Douglas didn't show at all. I didn't cry. Not once. But I didn't feel nothing either. The weight in my chest was real. Not grief for losing her. Grief for never truly having her. When it was over, I walked out into the sunlight, took a deep breath, and felt a strange sense of lightness. Nora slipped her hand into mine. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said honestly. "I think I am." Jessica kissed my cheek. "Jake, this was for you. Not her." And she was right. This wasn't closure. Closure implies resolution. This was acceptance. A clean cut. A quiet ending. A story that no longer needed to be told. Chapter 5: The Legacy I Choose. Years later, when Nora was applying to colleges, she asked me, "Dad, do you ever wish you'd had a different mother?" I thought about it. About the abandonment. The couch in the storage room. The kidney request. The hospice bed. "No," I finally said. "Because the mother I got taught me exactly what kind of parent I refused to be." She smiled, leaning her head on my shoulder. "You're a good dad," she said. "The best compliment I've ever gotten." I kissed her forehead. "Kid," I said softly, "you saved me long before you were even born. And that's the truth. My mother gave me life. But my daughter gave me meaning. And the rest? Just background noise."